Hearts have been hit with a double injury blow ahead of facing us next week, Celtic have missed out on another transfer target, and Chris Sutton has called out the board with the question everyone's asking. Plus, Martin O'Neill reveals a surprising new role for a Celtic outcast. It's been a dramatic 24 hours, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Hearts have been hit with a significant injury setback ahead of their crucial league meeting with Celtic next Sunday. The Jambos were already facing the Hoops without Benny Banningham, who received a red card against St Mirren midweek and will now miss the match due to suspension. That was a blow in its own right, but new developments have made the situation worse for Derek McInnes. Hearts confirmed that Cammy Devlin is now out injured, and it's a lengthy absence. The Australian picked up an ankle problem in the same midweek win over St Mirren, and scan results have ruled him out for 6 to 8 weeks. Devlin is a player who has frustrated opponents with his relentless work rate, constant movement, and his physical style, traits that have made him a thorn in the side of Celtic in past meetings. For many in the support, his absence will be welcome news. This double setback deprives Hearts of two key midfield presences at a pivotal stage of the title race. Banningham's suspension already weakened their options in central areas, but losing Devlin for over a month adds another dimension of difficulty for the Tynecastle side. Celtic, chasing every point as they aim to close the gap on Hearts and Rangers, will see this as an important break, both for next weekend's showdown and in the broader context of the second half of the season. Now for the main story, as it's becoming a painfully familiar story for Celtic supporters this January. Another striker linked with the club now looks set to sign elsewhere, with fresh reports tonight indicating that Franko Kovacevic is heading to Hungary rather than Glasgow. Polish journalist Tomasz Wlodarczyk reported late on Saturday evening that the NK Celje forward has already flown out for medical tests with Ferencváros. If confirmed, it effectively ends any lingering hope that Celtic would move decisively for a player they had been actively monitoring. Celtic's interest in Kovacevic was genuine. The Croatian striker had been identified as one of several options as the club scrambled to address a glaring lack of firepower. Initial contact was made with NK Celje to understand the framework of a potential deal, but as has too often been the case, interest never progressed into concrete action. Now, Ferencváros appear to have stepped in, moved quickly, and taken the player off the table if these reports are true. For Celtic fans, the frustration runs far deeper than one missed signing. The club have needed a striker for over a year. That was evident last January, it was obvious again in the summer, and it has been impossible to ignore this season. Yet here we are, halfway through the January transfer window, and Celtic still do not have a recognised number 9 through the door. Kovacevic's situation fits an all-too predictable pattern. A player is identified, reports surface, supporters dare to believe movement is finally happening, then another club acts with clarity and purpose, while Celtic hesitate, assess, and ultimately watch from the sidelines. This is not about whether Kovacevic was the perfect answer. It is about the wider failure to act with urgency in a position that has been screaming for reinforcement. Other clubs across Europe, including Ferencváros, have shown that deals can be done swiftly when there is intent and alignment behind the scenes. Celtic's ongoing inertia is now negligence. The team is being asked to navigate a demanding second half of the season without adequate attacking options, and that responsibility lies squarely at board level. Managers can only work with what they are given. Players can only deliver if the tools are there. If this window closes without a striker, there will be no hiding place. It would be nothing short of a disgrace. In other news, Celtic loanee Hayato Inamura has admitted he felt ashamed during his short-lived spell at Parkhead, opening up on the mental toll of his lack of game time and his determination to relaunch his career in Japan. The 23-year-old returned to his homeland earlier this month after sealing a loan move to FC Tokyo just 6 months after joining the Scottish champions from Albirex Niigata. He made only one senior appearance for Celtic, starting at left-back in a 3-0 win over Livingston under Brendan Rodgers. Rodgers had previously labelled Inamura as a club signing and made clear that the defender wasn't a central part of his plans, claiming he wasn't at the level. Successor Wilfried Nancy only named Inamura in one matchday squad in December, but left him on the bench. Speaking upon his return to Japan, Inamura gave a brutally honest assessment of his time in Glasgow. He said, "To be honest, I haven't had enough time to fully process my time at Celtic in my mind yet. I felt ashamed and felt like I couldn't change anything, no matter what. Recently, more and more players are going overseas, so I felt it was shameful to come back to Japan after only 6 months. But I don't think it's the end for my career to go back to Japan, and I want to work hard for this team so that my career can take off again. It was a difficult time and I didn't play. I often had to train with just 3 other players. I sometimes wondered, Am I actually a football player? I began to feel anxious and wondered if I would ever play a match again. A variety of emotions welled up inside me during that period, but having the time to reflect on this has allowed me to recognize my weaknesses. I truly felt I had hit the bottom, so I believe I can only improve from here. I also felt embarrassed for my former club at Albirex Niigata because I didn't live up to their expectations, but I hope this change can help me return to where I was before I left. Inamura will now look to impress in the J-League with the hope of earning a permanent switch, either at FC Tokyo or elsewhere, as he aims to rediscover his form and confidence. Three different managers, Rogers, Nancy, and interim boss Martin O'Neill, have been in charge during Inamura's brief Celtic career, but none have opted to give him a real opportunity in the side. In other news, Martin O'Neill's relationship with Michel-Ange Balikwisha has been a talking point among Celtic supporters, and it's clear the interim manager doesn't see the Belgian as a traditional wide attacker, or at least not in the way many fans hoped when he arrived. Balikwisha completed his £5 million move to Celtic from Royal Antwerp last summer, but ever since his debut at Ibrox, he's struggled to make an impact in green and white. Limited minutes, substitutions, and being left out of the last two matchday squads under O'Neill in his second return have fueled speculation over his standing within the group. Add to that his cryptic Instagram activity. That said, Balikwisha is expected to feature on Sunday in Scottish Cup fourth round action against Auchinleck Talbot at Rugby Park. O'Neill was asked about Balikwisha's role ahead of the tie and was clear about where he sees him fitting, and it's not on the wing. Well, I think he's just waiting for his turn and waiting for an opportunity to play. Hopefully he will be involved tomorrow in the game. He's been away for the African nations as well too. I did say to him at the time, even though he didn't get a start under me, he came on a couple of times as a sub, but the games were pretty well fired through at that stage. I said to him that the new manager coming in May will find out that he's as good as everything that we have at the football club, and that may still be the case. In terms of the training, he's just back. He's been back now a few days. He wasn't in the squad for the game the other night, but he'll participate tomorrow and give me an idea. I know it's on the plastic surface, but even so, it gives me an opportunity to have a look. My view would be that he would be more like a number 10. Absolutely. He wouldn't be a full-blown striker, and he's definitely not a wide player. O'Neill's comments will come as a surprise to some supporters who assumed Balikwisha had been recruited to provide pace and width on the right flank. Instead, the manager appears to be considering him more centrally. It's giving Haksabanovic at St Johnstone away vibes, so it will certainly be something to watch on Sunday night. Sunday's tie offers a valuable chance to stake a claim for Balikwisha. If he can impress in that new role, he could have more of an impact on the team going forward. Whether he can deliver in a role that's somewhat unfamiliar remains to be seen. But after a frustrating spell on the sidelines and behind the scenes, this Scottish Cup tie may be exactly the opportunity Michel-Ange Balikwisha needs to reach. That's all for today's Celtic news. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on the transfer situation. See you in the next one.